Good evening, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Mystery Schooler here. Got another slideshow presentation for you. Got Dogman AKA Cynocephaly. Pretty sure I'm pronouncing that right. I'm going to jump right into it. Little etymology here for you. The literal meaning of cynocephaly is dog-headed. However, a human body with a dog head is implied. Such cynocephalics are known in mythology and legend from many parts of the world, including ancient Greece, Egypt, India, and China. Now, all the information in this slideshow comes from Wikipedia, this link down here. If you guys want to look more into that. Wow, check out this statue over here on the right. In the middle here, we got, looks like the caduceus he's holding. Very familiar. Very Hermes out. Very mystery schooled out. And look over here, we got dog-headed people over here. Looks like Christ over here. Oh, I don't know. Reports of dog-headed races can be traced back to Greek antiquity. In the 5th century BC, the Greek physician Ctesias, in his Indica, wrote a detailed report on the existence of cynocephaly in India. Similarly, the Greek traveler Megasthenes claimed to know about dog-headed people in India who lived in the mountains, communicated through barking, and wore the skins of wild animals, and lived by hunting. Oh wow, so if they're wearing animal skins, then they're tanning and all that, right? They're leather working and all that, or to some degree. So how must be pretty intelligent then. If you get hunt too, you set traps and all that stuff, you get weapons. Claudius Aelianus also mentioned the dog-headed tribes in India. He wrote that they are of human shape and are clothed in the skins of beasts, and though they have no speech, they howl and understand the Indian language. Wow, so I thought it was kind of strange they say they have no speech, yet they howl. I mean, we can't understand their howls, but if they can understand each other's howls, I mean, it could be a language. So that's kind of a oxymoron there, I guess, but check out, they understand the Indian language. So that means someone must have had to have sat with them and figured out that they could somehow through their howling they could understand what they were saying. So someone who spoke Indian, a person hung out with them a lot, enough to get that across. Indian too. Wow, okay. Anyways, Herodotus reports claims by ancient Libyans that such creatures inhabit the East, along with headless men and other anomalies. Headless men, whoa. Okie dokie. Medieval travelers Giovanni da Pian, del Carpine, and Marco Polo both mention cynocephaly. Giovanni writes of the armies of Ogadai Khan, who encounter a race of dogheads who live north of the Dalai Northern Ocean, or Lake Baikal. Baikal. The travels of Marco Polo mention the dog-headed barbarians on the islands of Andaman or the Andaman Islands. For Polo, although these people grow spices, they are nonetheless cruel and are all just like big mastiff dogs. Whoa, bro. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Polo, chill, bro. In the voyage and travels of Sir John Mandeville, dog-headed men are described as inhabiting the island of Nakumera, the Nicobar Islands. Okay. The dog-headed people were also found in the New World. Christopher Columbus reported that the Taino were familiar with the cynocephaly. In 1517, the Ottoman Sultan Selim was presented with a map of the New World drawn by Piri Reis, which included an image of a dog-headed man fighting a monkey in what is now Colombia. I mean, yeah, if you want to get in a fight with a monkey, it sounds like a good place to go, right? In 1519, the governor of Cuba instructed Hernan Cortes to investigate rumors of cynocephaly while on his expedition to the American mainland. Well, there you go, guys. I mean, not only were they sighted, it's a problem. I mean, people are like, there's so many sightings of it. They're having their explorers keep an eye out. Where there's smoke, there's fire. According to Henry Cordier, the source of all the fables of the dog-headed barbarians, whether European, Arabic, Chinese, can be found in the Alexander romance. We're going to have to take a look at the Alexander romance now, aren't we? You have to write that one down. In Central and East Asia, a common calendar system consists of a 12-year cycle, with each year represented as an animal. The 11th animal of the 12th year cycle is the dog. Often such animals are depicted as human figures with an animal head. Thus, the cynocephalic depiction of the 11th zodiac animal is common, possibly with the tail. Additionally, in the Chinese record Book of Liang, the Buddhist missionary Hu Shen describes an island of dog-headed men to the east of Fusang, a nation he visited variously identified as Japan or the Americas. The history of the northern dynasties of Li Dashi and his sons Yi Yanshou, Tang historians also mention the dog kingdom. On the right here, we have a figure of the Eastern zodiacal dog, possibly a tailed person. This is a rubbing from the tomb of Gim Yu Sin of later Silla, now Korea. Oh, okay, so this is ancient Korean. So rubbing from a tomb. Oh wow, he almost looks reptilian to me, but if it's a rubbing, you know how detailed. Imagine what this original, what it must have looked like, the original image must look like. Wow. Yeah, dog-headed people. They're all over the place, man. They get around. Yikes. When I first heard about this, I thought it was like, oh, some obscure form of Bigfoot or something that you might find a couple accounts of or something, but it's freaking everywhere. In Michigan folklore, Dogman was allegedly witnessed in 1887 in Wexford County, Michigan. The creature is described as a 7-foot-tall, blue-eyed or amber-eyed bipedal canine-like animal with the torso of a man and a fearsome howl that sounds like a human scream. According to legends, the Michigan Dogman appears in a 10-year cycle, cryptic, that falls on the years ending in 7. Okay. Sightings have been reported in several locations throughout Michigan, primarily in the northwestern quadrant of the Lower Peninsula. The first alleged encounter of the Michigan Dogman occurred in 1887 in Wexford County, when two lumberjacks saw a creature which they described as having a man's body and a dog's head. In 1937 in Paris, Michigan, Robert Fortney was attacked by 5 wild dogs and said that one of the 5 walked on 2 legs. Wow, so imagine that, guys. We got cynocephaly out there, and they're leading packs of less human, I guess you want to say, less humanoid dogs. It's like they're like they're buddies. They're like their older brothers or something. It's strange. Yeah, imagine that. Reports of similar creatures also came from Allegan County in the 1950s and in Manistee and Cross Village in 1967. Wow, a lot of sightings in the U.S. Like Christopher Columbus said, the Taito tribe, or something knew about them too. Interesting. In the Eastern Orthodox Church, certain icons covertly identified Saint Christopher with the head of a dog. Such images may carry echoes of the Egyptian dog-headed god Anubis. Don't forget, guys, all over the Vatican there's obelisks and just all kinds of Egyptian iconography or whatever, and architecture, so just keep that in mind. Christopher pictured with the dog's head is not generally supported by the Orthodox Church, as the icon was proscribed in the 18th century by Moscow. Well, I would say to Moscow that the whole world sees them otherwise. There's lots of other accounts, so whether it was Christopher or not, whatever, but somebody had a dog head somewhere. I mean, the roots of that iconography lie in a narrative set during the reign of the Emperor Diocletian, which tell of a man named Reprobus, the reprobate or the scoundrel, being captured by Roman forces fighting against tribes dwelling to the west of Egypt in Cyrenaica. Sorry, guys. And forced to join forces with the Romans. Okay, so he was doing battle and basically a POW for the Romans now, a giant dog dude, known as the scoundrel. He was reported to be of enormous size, with the head of a dog instead of a man. He was later transferred to Syrian Antioch, where Bishop Peter of Attalia baptized him and where he was martyred in 308. Wow, so you hear that, guys? He went from POW to martyred. So I don't know how savage he could have been, right? I mean, you don't get martyred by being savage, especially even a POW can, or whatever, they sent him to. Probably a fight or something with the Romans. Anywho, the late 10th century German bishop and poet Walter of Speyer portrayed St. Christopher as a giant of a cynocephalic species in the land of the Canaanites. Canaan in the New Testament, okay. I always thought that was interesting. Canaan kind of sounds like that. Who ate human flesh and barked. Eventually, Christopher met the Christ child, regretted his former behavior, and received baptism. He too was rewarded with a human appearance, whereupon he devoted his life to Christian service and became an Athleta Christi, one of the military saints. Wow. So we got a similar story portrayed by a poet over here. It kind of sounds very similar to the top story of St. Christopher. Huh. Yeah, what do you guys think? Yeah, next time you hear a redneck saying he saw the dog man, just, hey, might be onto something there. I mean, if Bigfoot, right? If Bigfoot's real, a lot of Bigfoot sightings, is it really such a stretch of the imagination that the dog man could exist with all these reports? These are all eyewitness reports. Don't forget, guys, we put people to death. We give people the death penalty based on eyewitness testimony. Okay, so just keep that in mind when you see testimonies of things of mythological creatures in recent times. Just consider it. Moving on. Cynocephaly is also featured in medieval Christian worldviews. A legend that placed Andrew the Apostle and Bartholomew the Apostle among the Parthians presented the case of Abominable, the citizen of the city of cannibals, whose face was like unto that of a dog. After receiving baptism, however, he was released from his doggish aspect. I'm hearing a lot of the same story here, guys, all over the place. I don't know. Paul the Deacon mentions cynocephaly in his Historia Gentis Lango Bardorum. Don't leave home without it. They pretend that they have in their camps cynocephaly, that is, men with dog heads. They spread the rumor among the enemy that these men wage war obstinately, drink human blood, and quaff their own gore if they cannot reach the foe. Oh, okay, so these guys are like, yo, don't mess with us. We got dog soldiers, so you know what I'm saying? Clap you up. The 9th century Frankish theologian Ratrimus wrote a letter, the Epistola de Cynocephalius, on whether the cynocephaly should be considered human. Cynocephaly should be considered human. He thought that they were. If human, a Christian's duty would be to preach the Gospels to them. If animals, and thus without souls, such would be pointless. I would have to disagree. I think that God is God, whether you're an animal or a person or whatever you are. God is God, and that's just my opinion. And you know, animals have just as much a soul as we do. If you ask me, it's just different, right? This is my opinion. But yeah, interesting. I mean, if these creatures didn't exist, why is Homeboy over here wondering? Why is Ratrimnus wondering if he should preach the gospel to these people as if they're real? I mean, who wonders if they should preach to something that's not before them and mythical? I mean, kind of begs the question, is it not? Moving on. The Noel Codex, perhaps more commonly known as the manuscript containing the Anglo-Saxon epic Beowulf, also contains references to cynocephaly. One such reference can be found in the part of the manuscript known as the Wonders of the East, in which they are called Hilfhundingas, or Hilfhundingas, okay, dingas, or half dogs. Okay, we'll call them half dogs. Also in Anglo-Saxon England, the Old English word wolfus hefud, wolf's head, was a technical term for an outlaw who could be killed as if he were a wolf. Cynocephaly appear in the Old Welsh poem Pa Gur as Sinbin, dog heads. Here they are enemies of King Arthur's retinue. Arthur's men fight them in the mountains of Edinburgh, and hundreds of them fall at the hand of Arthur's warrior Bedwyr. Okay, so King Arthur got a scrap with these dudes too. Like, wow, all right. Seems to be a lot of war with these guys. The next lines of the poem also mention a fight with a character named Garwuld, Rough Grey, a Grugri Garwuld. Even the language sounds like a dog talking. Look at this. It sounds like if a dog was trying to talk, doesn't it? You know when a dog wants a biscuit and you try to get and it starts talking, so it's going. That's what this looks. Look, anyway, man dog rough gray appears in one of the Welsh triads, where he is described in such a way that scholars have discussed him as a werewolf. Yeah, the werewolf's an interesting one because, from what I understand, a werewolf is like a curse. It's like a cursed human or something. But cynocephaly are like backwards. They're like a blessed dog person. I don't know. It's like different, you know. It's like one's cursed and one's martyred, you know, as we were talking about earlier. And here they're described as werewolves, so I wonder. Maybe it just has to do with your environment, you know. If you're more feral, right? They're more to their animal side, just like we would be in a feral situation. And if they're more in a domestic situation, like we are now, they're less that way. It makes sense. And look at Tarzan, right? This beats the crap out of everything that lives out there. Anyways, the wolver is said by the Shetland folklorist Jesse Saxby to be benevolent, although later accounts state that they became violent if provoked. Sounds like a person. They were generally friendly to locals, however, and were known to share the fish that they caught with them. Oh, cool. They were usually described as looking like furry people with the head of a wolf. Some accounts claim they were never human to begin with. Okay, that's interesting. They're bipedal or something, but not human. Saxby, the Shetland traditionalist, wrote, "The wolver was a creature like a man, with a wolf's head. He had short brown hair all over him. His home was a cave dug out of the side of a steep knoll, halfway up the hill. He didn't bother folk if folk didn't bother him. He was fond of catching and eating fish, and had a small rock in the deep water which is known to this day as Wolver's Stane. There he would sit fishing silex and piltex for hour after hour. He was reported to have frequently left a few fish on the windowsill of some poor body." Oh wow! So Wolver's busting and fishing all day, and he has a good day. He feels bad for these people that can't feed themselves, and he leaves them some fish on the windowsill. Check them out over here, dude. How cool, right? I'll bet you guys feel bad now for being mean to Dogman. How dare you? How dare you? And now he's here giving you fish. I bet you feel hella guilty now. As always, thanks for watching, everybody. I really do appreciate it. I'm new at this, guys, so take it easy on me. I'm trying my best. Be concise with these slideshows and trying to pronounce all these crazy, super foreign names and stuff. Thanks for bearing with me, hanging in there. And please leave a like and sub if you haven't already. Can't thank you all enough for coming out. I'm going to be live pretty soon with another presentation, so stick around if you're here. Much love, everybody. God bless.